In this video, I'll show you how to estimate your internal walls. The general process is the same whatever type of internal wall you're estimating, but in this video I'll demonstrate estimating single skin block walls. Click Estimate on the Project Explorer window on the left of your screen. This will open the Estimate dashboard. From here you can open all of the estimating calculators within your estimate. You can also add new estimating calculators using the Estimating tab. In this video, I'll show you how to add an estimating calculator for internal walls. Click the Internal Walls button. Select a wall type from the drop-down menu. I'm going to select Block Single Skin Walls. The Wall Component Builder pops up. From here you can choose the specification and configuration of your internal wall and enter its dimensions. It's a good idea to make the window larger, as you'll then avoid having to scroll down the window to check and enter dimensions later on. You can stretch the window to make it larger, or make it full screen by double-clicking on the bar at the top of the window. The first screen prompts you to select a specification for the wall. You can choose from a list of standard specifications with a range of thermal performances, costs and thicknesses. Click the column headers to order the list by U-value, structural thickness, or rate. If you want to review and edit any of the specifications, you can do so by selecting the specification and clicking the Review Specification button. You can swap or edit a rate or resource within the specification, or delete any rates or resources you don't need. You can also add items to the specification. For now, I'm going to stick with the internal 100mm block wall with plastering and decoration to both sides specification. Once you've chosen your wall specification, click Next. The next screen prompts you to select a configuration. As you'd expect, the upper floor configuration doesn't include foundations and footings. If your ground floor walls and first floor walls have the same specification and you want to estimate them in one go, you can select the multi-storey wall with foundations configuration. There are also configurations for gables, including a gable for vaulted ceilings, and for different shapes of attic wall. I'm going to estimate ground floor walls with foundations and footings for this example. Once you've chosen your configuration, click Next. The next screen prompts you to select a specification for the foundations. Select a specification. As with the wall, you can review and edit any of the foundation specifications too by clicking the Review Specification button. Once you're happy with the specification, click Next. Now we can check and edit the foundation dimensions. Press the Tab key to move between the input boxes, over-typing any of the foundation dimensions as needed. Remember, BuildingWorks works in millimetres by default. If at any time you need to go back and change anything, you can work your way back through the screens using the Back button. Assuming you're happy with the foundation specification and dimensions, click Next. The next screen prompts you to select a specification for the footings. Select the appropriate footing, review the specification if you want to, or simply click Next. Now select footing configuration. Of course, it's imperative that you ensure your selected foundation and footing are compatible in terms of construction and dimensions. Click Next. Now we can review the footing dimensions. Make any changes as needed. Once you're happy with the footing dimensions, click Next. The next screen is all about the wall dimensions. Click into the Height of Unfinished Wall to Side 1 input box. The tech tip at the top of the window explains what dimension you need to enter. Each input box has its own tech tip, and they're a helpful point of reference if you come across any dimensions you're unsure of. In this example, the tech tip explains that you need to enter the height of floor zone at the top of the wall. This dimension is used to deduct plastering and decoration from the area covered by the floor above, at the top of the wall. We need to enter the height of unfinished wall on both sides. The default height of 225mm is correct in this case. Press the Tab key to move along to the Length of Wall input box. You can estimate each wall individually, or you can enter the total length of internal walls in one go. I'm going to estimate one length of wall, which is 7,814mm long. Press the Tab key to move to the Height of Wall input box. The easiest way is to select a wall height from the drop-down box. Click on the drop-down arrow and select the appropriate wall height. Once the wall dimensions are complete, click Next. The final screen gives you the opportunity to add any sundry items for the length of wall you're estimating. You're more likely to need these items if the wall you're building is part of an extension or renovation project. To add sundry items to your wall estimating calculator, click into the Rate Quantity input boxes and type the number or length required. For now, I'm going to set this to 0. Once you've finished adding your sundry items, click Finish to view the estimate. BuildingWorks now opens the Block Single Skin Wall component in the Dimension Linked Specified Items tab. At the top of the screen, you can see the total cost for this wall component. As you look down the screen, you'll find a breakdown of all the assemblies in the wall specification, which are linked to the dimensions you've entered. Click on the Dimensions and Linked Components tab. Here you can edit some of the dimensions of the wall. You can see any components which are linked to this wall. In the case of a ground floor wall, the foundations and the footings. If you add doors and openings to this wall, you'll also be able to see them here. You can open any of the linked components by clicking on the appropriate Open button. If you take a look at the Project Explorer, you'll see that you've added an estimating calculator. Here it's called the Internal 100mm Block Wall with Plastering and Decoration to Both Sides Estimating Calculator. Estimating calculators can be identified by their bold font on the Project Explorer, with a border around the icon. You can estimate multiple walls within an estimating calculator. The wall component I've just estimated is called Wall 1. Components appear in normal font, with no border around the icon. If you want to add more wall components of the same specification, you can quickly do so by clicking the Add Wall button on the Component tab. You won't need to select the specification of the wall, foundation and footings again, thus saving time. You might like to rename the wall components to something more meaningful, so that if you estimate multiple wall components, you'll know which one relates to which part of the build. To rename a component, right-click on it and click Rename. Enter a name for the component. And click OK. So now it's over to you. Have a go at estimating your internal walls. Go to the Estimating tab within your estimate, click the Internal Walls button and select a wall type. Work your way through the Wall Component Builder, selecting a wall specification and configuration and entering its dimensions. Add any sundry items you need on the final screen. Once complete, take a few minutes to explore the estimate.